Susie Owens, Voodoo, Jacquelina.
You're watching COMX-TV.
Spider-Man, Superman, they're all coming right to you. Venom, Bud, Archie too, they will all be here for you on Comics TV. Comics TV. Fantasy and enemy, what's it gonna be now? Alternative and mainstream too, here every week for you on Comics TV. Comics TV.
Hi, and welcome to Comics TV, your weekly guide to the world of comic books. I'm Mike Rizzo.
And I'm Steve Przybyla. And each and every week we bring you up to date on the newest reviews, previews, interviews, and everything in the comic book market.
That's right, today is Steve's your name, not today.
Yes.
All right, this is our first ever live television show here at BCTV Television Studios in Buffalo, New York.
Yeah, and today we got some really neat interviews. We got part 3 of the Peter David interview. We got a dual review of Ariel Warrior Nun. Got a lot of neat stuff coming up today.
That's right, including we've got some special guests like Sacco the Puppet from Talk Soup. So we're going to have some good times. We're going to have
The dead
some
gopher
fun.
from Caddyshack.
And we may even talk about a former guest on our show,
Yeah,
Ratty
a
the
dead rat.
So let's kick off today's show with Steve's first comic book review.
With me. Okay, today I'm going with my first one. Dark Horse presents Aliens, $2.95 from Dark Horse Comics. This is number 117. This book, it's got 3 stories in it. It's got an alien story, Tripto the Acid Dog, which you got to be on acid to read this, and Dr. Spin, which I didn't even bother getting through. The only one I actually bothered to read all the way through was the alien story, and I was very, very disappointed. This is a black and white book. This was all pencil sketched. It was scratched. Very, very disappointing. The writing was terrible. The artwork was terrible. This, all in all, was a very, very terrible book for Dark Horse Presents. I would not recommend picking this one up. I give this one a not hot this week.
All right, now we've got get your news out there.
Oh, my wonderful news.
Yes, got some big comic book news this week. In case you haven't heard, issue number 24 will be the last issue of Overstreet's Fan Magazine. The comic book marketplace, the EC reprints, and the Overstreet annual price guide will still be published.
Yes. Jakks Pacific will be producing a signature series of die-cast vehicles based upon Top Cow's popular characters such as Witchblades and the Darkness and Weapon Zero.
Sounds pretty cool.
Interesting.
Yes. Backlash number 32 will from Wildstorm will be the last issue as they launch a new team book called Wildcore later this year.
Yes. Image Comics and Jim Valentino continue their quest to be the biggest alternative publisher with the following editions: Jinx, Starchild, The Badger, Replacement Gods, The Nameless, Bliss Alley, Ship of Fools, Jack Magic, and Ragmop, an amazing collection of alternative comics.
Yes, and we had interviewed Rob Walton from Ragmop before.
Yes, we have.
And lastly, on the comics news, the Zen Intergalactic Ninja movie is scheduled to begin filming in Quebec in late spring. 1997, what's that?
It's a Quebecian.
Yes, 1997 marks the 10th anniversary of Zen, thanks to the Comic Club for their help in the news compilation. Now, on to my first comic book review.
And what's that?
This would be Razor by Everett Hartsoe. It's a $14.95 book. It's a trade paperback compiling the 5 issues of the Byrne storyline. Hartso and his London Night Studios have never hidden the fact that women, sex, and violence is what sells their comics. Razor's their top-selling bad girl type character. Hartso was the main writer and original penciler on the Byrne storyline. His art isn't bad, but the quality definitely improves when he isn't the artist. The story's about Razor's beginning and how her sister Strike is out for revenge against her. This is the basic premise, as it is in a lot of stories. There is no premise. There is plenty of violence and blood throughout this book. There was no nudity, but it definitely portrayed women at their best with looks and strength. Overall, the story wasn't bad. On the other hand, it wasn't good either. It was a mediocre story with violence, a meager story as the highlights. Razor Byrne is an okay read, but it'd probably be worth it if you like the bad girl comics. I do, but I don't think this one was good enough. Mr. Steve.
Yes. Don't forget to watch Comics TV every Monday night on ISP TV at 8 p.m. Eastern.
That's right. And check out the Comics TV website at pweb.moran.com/ComicsTV, all in one word, and look for where we air for more information about Comics TV, reviews, etc., where we're airing and everything, all that.
And coming up next week, there will be an all-action figure show. This is going to be a special. First time, tons of Spawn and Batman toys. First time we ever did something like this. I think you're really going to like it.
Well, I think in a half-hour show there, we're going to make up for all the times that we haven't done action figures.
Yeah.
We've been missing them for quite a few months now.
Yep. And I'll tell you what, you will get your fill of them.
So, we'll take a quick break, and we'll be back right after this.
You might not want to be involved in the war on drugs, but make no mistake, if you're a parent, you've been drafted.
We just rented it.
That's too many children for this unit.
We have a very long waiting list for these apartments.
You couldn't manage alone here. I'm sorry, the owner has decided not to sell.
When you hear lines like these, suspect housing discrimination. Fair housing is the law. You can fight housing discrimination and win. Fair housing opens doors. Call toll-free 1-800-669-9777.
Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back. Okay, welcome back to the first ever Comics TV live television show
Yes,
here
not
at
dead, live.
BCTV Studios on LaSalle Avenue, 101 LaSalle, Buffalo, New York. That's right.
We're excited to be here. We're going to try and do more live shows, have more special guests, more interesting people.
That's right. I'm sure Kevin would love us doing more live shows.
Yes, he would absolutely love us.
So anyhow, let's kick back into comic book review time. Steve's got another book for you. Let's check this one out.
For my next and really, 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 really exciting book, I'm going with Monsters. It's something new from Dark Horse. Dark Horse Monsters. It's featuring 4 independent stories all about monsters. The first... Hey, Sacco.
Hey, where's the rat?
Where's the rat?
Where's the rat?
First monster story was talking about the last man on Earth. He had to come back. The monsters took over the world, ate all this plutonium. Sort of a boring story, so-so. Second one, dealing with this guy that was shrunk down, kid's father, put him in a fish tank with all different creatures. So-so story. Third one dealt with, it was similar to Cadillacs and dinosaurs. I really liked it. People are driving down the road, hit a dinosaur, they got to spend the night in their car, it's cracked up, all these dinosaurs around them. Very interesting. Fourth one was dealing with an island that was actually a monster, and all monsters were on it, and people were getting killed. Another interesting one. Dark Horse strung out to try and bring a monsters book. This one was well written. It's all different artists, all different writers, though, in this, not one writer and one artist. But this was the best monsters book that I've read in a long time. If you can remember back in the 50s, they used to have monster books and Fangoria and that. This was well worth the money. If you can find this one, it's drawn well, written well, pick this one up. It is a definite hot, hot, hot on the Comics TV scale. Definite. Pick it up. Are you killing Sacco?
You won't die.
Die! Sacco is dead.
Kill him.
Mike's playing with his socks again.
Anyhow, next we've got, what do we have? I've got a review.
You got a review.
I've got a review.
Let him do a review.
It's called Octane. Octane. It's a $12.95 book. It's a compilation trade paperback from Dark Horse Comics. It's written by Gerard Jones with art by Gene Ha. Octane presents quite the futuristic story. There he is. Set sometime in the early part of the 21st century, Octane is all man. Well, he's kind of all man. He's like 9 feet tall. He drinks motor oil. That's right, your good old Pennzoil motor oil.
Yummy.
He's kind of American in a way. Stories about the decline of America, and he pokes fun at every nationality and the government itself. Las Vegas is a sacred institution, and all factions end up meeting there in a final showdown of good versus evil. Octane versus the government. The working man versus big corporations. That's kind of what it's all about.
Cool.
There is much more to the book than I even read. This was also Gerard Jones's last comic book for a while. The big machinery of the industry has burned him out and left a bad taste in his mouth. Kind of like the one I have from the cold I have right now. The book was good. It was entertaining, in fact. The art is great and the story very deep. I think it would make an excellent animated feature. Octane is a good book, and it's definitely worthy of a hot from me this week.
Yes.
Dun, da, 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 da.
Something real quick.
What's
if
that?
you guys contact us within the next week, anybody, we'll give you a card for a free Turok comic book when you rent the Nintendo 64-bit. The 64-bit game will give you a free comic book. It's pretty cool. Something, but you got to come and see us. You got to come talk to us. Say, hey, I seen your show. I want one. You got a stack of them here.
Best way would be to either send us a letter, P.O. Box 220, Buffalo, New York 14225, or email at comxtv@moran.com.
That's moron.com.
But there's an A at the end.
I'm the moron. He's the con.
All right. Next, what do we got, Steve?
This is something that me and Mike really cherish ourselves on. It's something called Dual Review.
That's right.
Each and every week, me and Mike take one book. We both read it, and we let you know what we think about it, if the book stinks or if the book's good. This week we did.
We did. Well, this we didn't do. This book we kind of just read.
We just kind of read.
It's a 40-page special. Warrior Nun, Ariella, Rituals. It was $3.50. It's number 6. It's from Antarctic Press. Warrior Nun is created by Ben Dunn from Antarctic Press. And basically, what we've got here is it's a goofy story.
Very goofy story. Here's your typical nun fighting demons. Of course, she's all decked out in leather and metal with a holy sword, and she's cutting up little demons, and they fly this holy plane through a demon force field. And shall I keep going on?
Well, it's an interesting book. I mean, the art is, I think, pretty good.
The art is very good.
The coloring is excellent.
It reminds me of like a Japanese manga.
Yeah, that's kind
Definitely.
of a lot of Antarctic Press's stuff has been manga, and I think Ben Dunn does a lot of manga himself.
This almost reminds me of a Mortal Kombat type book. You've got the good group and the bad group, and they're constantly fighting each other and hacking each other up, and you always lose one good guy during all these fights, of course, you know. And
one thing is something that you don't normally see is the way these, like he was saying, the way these nuns are decked out. Here's the little Warrior Nun toy, if you want to get a picture of that there, Steve. That's the Warrior Nun Ariella special toy that I picked up through...
special.
Through, what did I pick up through? I picked it up over from Sanford Toys out of someplace, I don't remember where.
On the internet.
Internet, that's the word.
Internet.
The one thing about these nuns is you never see nuns like this if you went to Catholic school or anything.
No.
They wear these very tight clothes.
The nuns never looked like this when I was growing up.
Tight clothes, and they're all well endowed. That's a good word for it. Well endowed.
They never showed thighs either. Nuns never showed thighs, and these are drawn very.
See, but these are warrior nuns. These nuns have powers, and they can go and kick some butt.
Demon butt.
Yes, demon butt.
Catholic Charities get a lot more money.
Really?
Really?
You know,
Catholic Charities would really be upset.
No,
they would make money.
If they had nuns like this, everybody would want to be spending some time.
Really.
Some money and
give me some money as she puts a sword to your throat. Okay,
exactly,
here, take my paycheck.
Exactly.
But all in all, this book was okay. But there are quite a few different type Catholic women, you might say, quote unquote. I can't even say Catholic, but nuns and holy people fighting demons, and other books that are a lot better. Who am I thinking of? Evangeline. I mean, she's been fighting demons.
There's a bunch of them
there's
now.
a bunch of them out right now.
It's all it all came out of that bad girl thing where there was all these bad girl women comics, and now they've got the good girl bad girl women comics.
The good girl bad girl comics, exactly.
So it's kind of goofy.
Yeah, but I would actually think twice about picking this one up. I mean, if you collect it like Mike does, pick it up because it probably be a collector's item sooner or later down the line.
I like the toys because it's probably going to be worth $11 next year.
11. Paid 10 for it, it'll be worth 11 next year.
Anyhow,
that's average price.
Yeah, it was okay. It was big. There was no ads in it. You know, you got your money's worth, but it wasn't.
Definitely got your money's worth. Definitely got your money's worth.
Anyhow, I would say I'd have to pass on Warrior Nun. Ariella, Rituals myself.
Yeah, I would say I'd have to pass on it. I mean, for the price, you get 40 pages, which is good too, but I would definitely have to pass and think about picking up something that I really collect.
Yeah.
What can I say?
That's it. And that's it for
our dual review this week.
Now I've got one quick comic here. This is the 30-second mini comic review. It's a book called The Evolutionaries from Psychoholic Studios. It's bad. These people have tried to make an X-Men / Image team-up book. The art is subpar. This ash can is just scary. Looking at that art there, you can't quite tell, but basically there's
looks like Team Youngblood.
Exactly. They don't know what they're doing. They're people that are wasting their time. I'm sorry.
You're robbing the big studios.
This is just the kind of book that makes the industry look like Dookie. So forget it. The Evolutionaries, goodbye.
Yes, it makes you look like you're robbing the studios here. Come up with your own ideas, guys.
That's
Come
right.
on.
Come up with your own idea, darn it all.
Yes.
So we're going to take another quick break in a second here, and we'll come back to some more comic book reviews. We've got an interview with the one and only Peter David. It's part 3 of that. And some more great comic book stuff.
Peter David. Yes.
It's a day for love. What a day for love. It's a lovely day.
The 90s are not the 60s. In a world this dangerous, there's no such thing as a harmless drug. Talk to your kids about marijuana.
669-9777.
Hey, we're back.
We're back.
We're live. This is COMX-TV, your weekly guide to the world of comic books. I'm Mike Rizzo.
And I'm Steve Przybyla. Moo.
Why did you grab the cow, Steve?
Why'd you grab the beaver, Mike?
You're not touching my beaver. Anyhow.
Yes.
Steve's got another book for us?
Yes, we're going back into the good reviews. This week, I'm going with,
review?
this is a hot
Look at Steve,
review.
we're live.
We're live, so I gotta be nice. Okay, this is a hot review. This is Eternal Warriors, #1. It's a 48-page special from Acclaim Comics. $3.95, and it's worth a whole $3.95 if I ever seen one. This is written by Art Holcomb, art by Doug Wheatley, and inker is John Floyd, like you care. The Eternal Family. There's 5 of them. There's Abram, Gilad, Archer, Redburn, and Ivan. They are fighting another Eternal Family who's trying to create the only Eternal Family, if you understand what I'm talking about. Ethan and Geomai. He has been killing off the Eternal Family. First couple pages, it's very graphic. They cut a guy in half. They show it with a chainsaw. It was very graphic, but very cool. They recreate the whole Eternal Family. If you remember collecting the Eternal Warrior when it was single, Gilad, they mentioned about his brother Abram. Now they bring Abram in. Abram is huge. He looks like a house. He's like 7'9", 540 pounds of solid muscle. He's huge. This story was really, really cool. The part that I really liked was the end of this story when they ended up catching up with the bad guys and they had to punish them because amongst the Eternal Families, they punish each other. They don't kill you because you cannot die. They ended up putting him in a pool, chaining him to the bottom of a pool, so he drowned and came back to life every 15 minutes for the next 20 years. Tell me, is that sick or what? The writing in this was fabulous. The art was fabulous. This was a fabulous story. I can't wait to read part 2 of this. Great series.
I think it's sick.
Stab the dog. This was a hot book. Pick this one up. It's been out. It just came out. Pick this up. It is great. Hot, 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 hot. Hot book today. That's my hot book right there. Eternal Warrior.
All right, guys.
Hey, Coach, what's up?
Oh, we've got a great interview now. We got a great interview. Oh, my.
Who are we interviewing?
Peter David, the one and only Peter David. Peter David. This is part 3 of the Peter David interview. Boys and girls, come on. The Sabres are going to win, and then the Bills, too. Anyhow, Peter David, part 3 of the interview.
Yes.
And we've got this live on tape.
It's live.
What about your current stuff with Aquaman and stuff? Do you think that is proper for small children as well?
How small?
Well, I remember when I was a kid and I was reading comic books, so, I was 6, 7, 8 years old, and I was picking up comic books, and Aquaman was a very safe thing to do. In today's market, some of the themes are much more adult, and parents should be more involved to see if this is suitable for their children.
I think that parents have an obligation to watch what it is that their kids are reading to see if they feel that it's appropriate.
Right.
In terms of Aquaman, do I think that younger kids can read it? Yeah, I think they will. I mean, if Aquaman and Dolphin hit the hay, for example, it's going to happen in between panels or off panel, or it will be discreetly drawn.
And they don't even have hay in the ocean.
Exactly.
It's seaweed.
I don't think that that kids are going to have their minds rotted out by seeing Aquaman and Dolphin cuddling in bed.
Right.
We're not seeing any explicit sexual acts or anything like that. We're not going to see little kids going to mom and dad with the Aquaman comic going, "Mommy, what's that part of a man called?" This is not going to be happening. So I don't think, so I don't think that younger kids should have any problem with it. Would it appeal to them? I have absolutely no idea. Kids will find their own reference points for a particular series. And if they like it, they will continue to read it. And if they can't find reference points for it, they won't read it because it doesn't relate to them.
Do you think that comics in general should focus more on the younger audience, or do you see it going?
Not any more than, that's like saying, should novels in general focus on the younger audience, or should
young people have to read.
Yes.
Shouldn't they have more novels?
There should be anything that people will buy, and anything that people want to read. I would say at this point that the vast majority of comic books that are out there can be read by kids of any age. I would like to see more comics along the lines of, say, Batman Adventures.
Excellent book, which I enjoy as much as my daughter does.
But the sales are not fantastic.
Right.
And you can put out as much as you want, but the bottom line is, if you get parents coming into the comic book stores and they're saying, it's not 10 cents.
Yeah.
It's not 12 cents. It's not a quarter. I'm not going to pay $1.50, $1.95 for a comic book and toss it aside. It really doesn't matter.
That's true.
So the big problem is not producing the comic books and making them available. The big problem is getting people to pick up the things and buy them.
That's very true. But I think now that the parents of children, if they do go into a comic book store, have probably read comics themselves and realize that they're not a quarter anymore.
Right.
So isn't it?
Not necessarily. I mean, think when I was 11. Okay. When I was 11, comic books were 12 cents.
Right.
Okay. When I was 15, they were a quarter. Okay. Now I kept reading comic books, so I was there as the prices went.
Right. You've
but
seen
what
the
about
progression.
I've seen the progression. But what about the person who stopped reading them when he was 12?
Right.
Now he goes into the comic book store and he's in his mid-30s, late 30s, and he goes in with this kid and he's got frozen in his mind comic books at 12 cents. Now he looks at it and he goes, "What the heck? No way."
$1.95 at least.
$1.95, not happening.
Yeah.
Now he doesn't think about the fact that he will then turn and say, "Forget it, I'll buy you this candy bar."
Yeah.
And he will pay 60, 75 cents for the candy bar, and he won't even think about the fact that when he was buying the comic book at 12 cents, the candy bar was a nickel.
Right.
He doesn't take it. Doesn't take it to that next step in logic.
It's a wacky world.
It is.
If we can get off the subject of.
Hello, welcome back to COMX-TV. Thanks for that interview with Peter David and Bill Jankowski.
Our toys. You know how we play with toys.
That's right. This is COMX-TV. We're live. I'm Mike.
Yes, I'm Steve.
Yes.
I'm not Mike. He's
And
not Steve.
they both died.
Yeah.
Toys. Toys aren't good anymore.
Yeah,
Anyhow,
well,
I've got.
looks like Mike, anyways. Look at that. Look at them arms.
Oh, what are you saying?
Look at them arms. Same thing. Look at them little arms. Look at it. Looks just like them.
Okay.
Okay.
Anyhow, I've got my next review. This is called Wolf and Bird, Counselors of the Macabre.
No, it's macabre.
Oh, the macabre. Okay. It's by Bat and Lash.
Macabre.
It's $2.50. Published by Exhibit A Press. Issue number 13, the Bad Luck issue. The culmination of the Sod case. It looked good. One thing I like about this book is there is usually a continuing story, but each issue has one complete tale. So you can really start reading any issue and you won't miss anything too disastrous.
Yes.
Wolf and Bird are lawyers who take on all the creepy characters in the world. Dracula, haunted houses, zombies, anything like that. They'd even take Steve. That's what makes this book fun. It's as serious as these topics can really be. Batten's art is crisp and clean. No caffeine. His stories are entertaining and just plain fun. The book is worth every penny. Should be liked by anyone who enjoys a good read and wants to save 45 cents off the cost of your typical book, because it's only $2.50. This is definitely hot on the Comics TV rating scale today.
Yeah.
We're going to rip through. We only got a couple minutes left, so we're going to go through our we've got some updates on the Squiddy Awards.
The Squiddies.
Longest running annual comic awards on the internet. Writer of 1996, winner was Kurt Busiek.
Penciler of 1996, Phil Jimenez.
Inker of 1996, W.C. Carani.
Publication in 1996, Comics Journal.
The character of 1996 was Tommy Monaghan. Monaghan from Kitman. Mahonigan, yeah.
Company imprint of 1996, DC.
DC was the big one. Best story of 1996 was Kingdom Come.
Trade paperback collection in 1996, Whatever Happened to the Man of Tomorrow.
What did happen to him? And the comics website of 1996 was the new comics release list. Rec Arts Comics news groups are part of Usenet, a free discussion forum available to all the users. Let's do some quick reviews before we end this show. Comic Copybook Tales. We've got, this is issue number 1. It's pretty good. It's an ash can. Go ahead.
Rogue Squadron, stunk.
This is issue number 2 of Copybook Tales. Not too bad.
Species, stunk.
Issue number 3 of the Copybook Tales. This one isn't too bad. It's actually a pretty good book. The stories are kind of interesting. It's supposedly from the one guy's own personal journal.
Ghost, awesome.
Ninja High School. Now this is interesting. This is also from Ben Dunn. This is the swimsuit issue for 1996. What you get is a bunch of,
good or bad
of manga high school type
good or bad
animals, girls. Not bad, but I wouldn't pay money for it.
Black Pearl. This was actually a very, very good series. I really liked it.
And Broken Axis number 1. It's not too bad. Bunch of aliens.
Predator, Kindred, bad. Magnus, Robot Fighter, good. Body Bags, best series I wrote or read in a long time. And Gunsmith's Cats, The Return of Grey, very, very good.
And that's all the time we have
for
it is. Comics TV. This week, we'd like to thank Kevin Pearson and everybody else who's here working hard to keep and get Comics TV's first live show on the air. Public access television is not just religious shows, it's all kinds of stuff. It's not just art shows.
Yes. This is Mike Rizzo, of course.
That's right, I'm Mike Rizzo.
And I'm Steve Przybyla. I'd like to say hi to a couple people. I'd like to say hi to Buffalo Dart Center, all my friends at the Black Rock Saloon. Ale, stop shrimping, it's bad for your health. Congratulations, Bob, on your daughter, Haley, and all my friends at Quebecor and UPS. Hello!
Yes, thanks to everybody. Hi to Jen, hi to my friends, family, everybody else, and
my friends, family,
Comics TV, P.O. Box 220, Buffalo, New York, 14225. Don't forget to say, say your ending here.
Oh, hey, like I say each and every week, when you purchase that comic book that you've seen here on Comics TV over at that local comic shop, tell them you've seen it on
Comics TV.